This is a story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked at a company called Black Mesa. Stanley's job was simple. He sat in his office and pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came through a monitor at his desk telling him what buttons to push, when to push them, and in what order. And although others might have considered it soul-ripping, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he was created exactly for this job, and Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened, something that would forever change Stanley, something he would never quite forget. He had been typing away at the commands as usual when he realized that not one single command had came through the monitor. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. So he got up from his desk and entered the hallway. Stanley decided to go to the cubicles to check on his coworkers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door to his right. This was not the correct way to the office cubicles, so Stanley turned right at the first open door and walked back in the right direction. Stanley was so bad at following directions. It's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Maybe this is why everyone had left. No one wanted to be around such a stubborn man. And since he was walking into the middle of nowhere and thus ruining the entire story, he decided he would punish himself. So when the elevator doors opened up, as he was on the ground level, he pushed the button to go to the 2nd floor. Oh, Stanley. You really aren't going anywhere, and I don't say that deceitfully. I truthfully mean that there isn't a story down here. The story was back up where I told you to go in the first place. And right now you're just running around empty holes. And quite frankly, that's even more infuriating for me. So why don't you throw me a bone and let me tell the story I want to tell, Now listen carefully. This is important. Stanley went through the doors at the end of the corridor. All right, fine. You want to know so badly what lies out there, what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. See? Are you satisfied? This wasn't even part of the original plotline. Was it worth ruining the entire story I've written out for you? I put a lot of time into that, and here you are now just gazing at the scenery. You're right smack in the middle of nowhere. To think that's what would have made you happy. Just a whole bunch of farmland and shrubbery. Well, it's not like I can just leave you here, can I? Especially seeing how brilliantly you've cooperated with me so far. Here, let me load up another set for you. See if there's something that'll keep you occupied. Here's one. Let's see how you like it. Well, Stanley, is this any better? I don't know why it would be. This set wasn't even made for you. At least I created a world specifically with you in mind. I wanted to make you a leading man. This one won't. I'm afraid you're on your own now. By the way, are you actually trying to escape? Well, be my guest. No one's trying to stop you. Not so fast. Is this the end of the line? I don't suppose this was a particularly fulfilling experience for you, considering not a single aspect of the set was created with you in mind. But hey, you're a creative kid. Bet you can come up with a story for this place and why you're in it. And while you're doing that, why don't you think of an ending too? Maybe the story ends when you can't live in this generic, run-of-the-mill school anymore and you gallantly commit suicide. Or maybe you sit in this spot for the rest of eternity to guide and greet other travelers like yourself who pass this way. But whatever ending you write for yourself, Stanley, you won't have my help. You turned your back on me, and now I do the same to you. So good luck. I think you'll need it. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after. Hold on a second, what are you doing? Very clever, Stanley, shutting off the camera and all. You must be wondering why you didn't see it the whole time, but this is a movie after all. Really accurate. It's sad, but all stories must come to an end. Of course, they say it's the journey that truly matters and not the destination. And I like that idea, to think we might value the paths we walk on as much as the places they lead us. Now, I don't know what sort of story you ciphered out of that experience, but I hope that being the center of the flame is everything is cracked up to be. I know it can be a little hard getting around without someone looking over your shoulder, but this is simply the nature of freedom. Besides, I haven't really gone yet. Now, maybe you don't want a guide, but I think I'll always have a place here at the end of every story. I'll step in and wrap things up with a nice piece of dialogue and a reflection on life that makes sense of whatever path you've chosen to walk. And for now, I'm happy to be the destination instead of the journey, but only for now.
Try